Hello, my name's Alan Batista, and the reason for me coming to early college was that I wanted to come here because I wanted to give myself a edge up for later in life by having an associate's degree under my belt whenever I graduate from high school. Um, I also wanted to experience something that I wouldn't experience at a normal high school or really anywhere else in life, and it put me out of my comfort zone from where I was in middle school. Um, my project relates because my junior research paper was on the effects of drugs on one's body and one's mentality, and looking into rehabilitation programs and its effectiveness, while my capstone is on the opioid epidemic that Johnson County is facing in North Carolina, and looking at just ways that Johnson County is taking initiative to help combat this. Also looking into life-saving drugs like naloxone, which kind of reacts to the effects of overdose, and looking into the Good Samaritan laws that protect you when wanting to help someone. So the most difficult part of my project was talking to people that I had never really met before and asking them for help, because I don't want to ask someone who doesn't know me for help, because it's not their responsibility to help me out, and so they're not obligated to do anything, and it's like if they want to help me out, it's all on their choice, and if they wanted to halfway through, they could be like, yeah, I can't help you out no more. I'm really busy now, there's nothing I can do about it. So having that trust with someone was just difficult for me to have. But the easiest part of the project was the actual topic that I chose. It's something that interests me, and it's something that I want to talk about and learn more about, and it's something that I want to spread awareness on, because it's a really serious issue that shouldn't be taken lightly. And so it's something that, wasn't difficult for me to, work on. It's something that I found interesting. Um the learning stretch from the beginning to the end of the project was that when I was coming into the project, I knew a few things about drugs and alcohol, as it's something that you really hear about growing up a lot, because people are telling you the effects it can have on you and where it can take you in life. And I also had seen it firsthand with family members, and family actually telling me not to do drugs or alcohol in school. But what I didn't know were the actual statistics of here in Johnson County, of the effects of it, or the initiatives that are being taken, like the task force, or the seminars that are being held, or any of that, or drop boxes that are being placed around the area for you to drop off old prescriptions and dirty needles that you find and stuff like that. Um, so by the end of it, I came out knowing a lot more than what I began knowing. Um, if I could go back and change one thing about my project, was that I would set a lot more strict deadlines for myself. But that's kind of hard to do because I was working with someone who is just really busy at all times. Kim Fullwood, and then Lewis. Kim works in the health department here in Smithfield, and for Johnson County, and she's having to help out a lot of people. So I'm not her main responsibility, and it's hard setting up meetings. And Ed Lewis is always having office hours, helping people with defensive driving and signing them up and having meetings, and so it's just hard setting up times to meet with them and setting deadlines for myself. Um, the capstone benefits students a lot more, well, when learning on their own, than having to learn from a book or writing papers or taking any of these tests, because they get to choose a way, or they get to choose what topic they want, and it's a lot more interesting for someone to pick something that they like than having to pick something or be given something that they don't really quite enjoy. And so whenever they get to pick their own topic, they tend to produce better quality work. And when you produce better quality work, it's just beneficial for yourself and for the teachers. um, and they also come out knowing a lot more about things than they would have known about something they didn't care about, and they're still using skills that they learned in class. um, One takeaway that I ended up out of this was that whenever I was talking about Ed Lewis and having him for an interview, he's one of my mentors. um, was that he dropped a lot of knowledge on me. He looked at the drug abuse here in Johnson County, and or not abuse but misuse here in Johnson County, as more of a social issue, and looking at the ways that society ourselves are the ones to blame, and the ones that are not just to blame, but we can also help end this and fix the problem, because most people who misuse drugs are still good people. Nobody chooses to go down this road purposely, and so it's all about giving a helping hand to one another and treating each other like human beings. at the end of the day. And by doing this, it's a way that we can, fight through this epidemic that we're facing. And also with a focus on education and teaching kids from an earlier age to, know more about this and look at the signs and stuff like that. Um, um, Working with my mentor, I learned a lot or I used a lot of skills like um, problem solving, analytical, and critical thinking skills. Because with working with Kamifa Forward, she was showing me a lot of data of overdoses and problems here in Johnson County that I was having to look at, and looking at initiatives and thinking of other ways to help, combat that. And so I used a lot of those skills when working on this, and that's been my project, and it turned out really well, at least in my opinion. I got a lot of good feedback after my seminar, and it all went well. Thank you.